I'm now going to call to order the developers workshop for the 6:40 time frame. Just so you know, we're just now going online. The 6:20 applicant asked that they defer their developers workshop to a later time. So we'll now start with a presentation by Epcon Communities, John Stamp, regarding property located 8612 Fairview Road, parcel number 197-201-14. I'll ask that whoever's going to make the presentation come to the podium, give us your name and your address, please, and you have the floor.
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Bridget Grant. I'm a land use consultant with Moore & Van Allen. We're pleased to be here tonight with the Epcon team. We have Ken Cardos, John Champ, and Andy Gibbon here with us this evening. We've been supported by Odom Engineering on this design, so we're just going to go through a really quick presentation, leave plenty of time for Q&A. I think most of you are familiar with the site. We've talked about it a few times over the past year. It's a 32.84 acre site located on Fairview Road right by Quail Park Drive with great proximity to Veterans Memorial Park. The existing zoning on the site is for residential, and most recently the adopted land use policy supports a mixed residential community, which falls in line with what we're proposing. At a high level, we're looking at proposing 67 units, and at the front side of the site, reserving 2.78 acres for future commercial uses to be dedicated to the town. One of the reasons we were looking at this, the adopted land use plan and the subsequent small area plan recognize that there's a unique opportunity to not only create a corridor along Fairview Road, but to also look at opportunities for how the park could be strengthened in this location. Given that Epcon is a residential developer, we felt it was in the best interest for us to really focus on our strength, which is developing residential community. So we're maintaining the 67 units with open space throughout, an amenity area. We have 2 access points coming off the site and onto Quail Park Drive, as well as a pedestrian corridor at the end of the street that'll give you great access to the park. And then you can see the green area at the front provides future land dedication to go to the town of Mint Hill that will allow the town to decide how to establish that corridor, how to set the precedent for the type of commercial that you'd like to see in that location, or to even consider how that could be used to maybe complement existing uses at Veterans Memorial Park. Our hope is that if we're able to dedicate and donate this to the town, that there would be an opportunity for us to expedite through the permitting process as much as feasibly possible, as we've been waiting to get to this point for a little bit. And I think everyone's aware the market is a little bit frothy, I think, at this point, and so we'd like to keep things moving. This is the more detailed, traditional, high level of the plan. You can see we're committing to a maximum of 67 units. We've got that 2.78 acres. We're recommending that we go ahead and zone that to BG to allow flexibility of uses. We've got those access points off of Quail Park Drive. And as I mentioned, we're pleased to say it aligns with the recently adopted land use plan and with the adopted small area plan. We've also included that area to show that that anticipated roadway to be constructed by others begins to set up that network to run parallel to Fairview. Most of you are familiar with the quality of development that Epcon brings. We really focus on a variety of materials, open spaces, and amenities that provide a very welcoming environment and something that you all are familiar with. So this gives a few images of the precedents of the type of attractive features that you can expect to find in our communities. And as promised, with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm sure the members of our team will also be willing to answer any questions. I'll jump back to the colored site plan. They're always easier to read.
Commissioner Long.
Nothing in particular. Thank you for considering the land dedication. That's clever and wise, I believe. You made a comment going ahead and applying for rezoning to BG now. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And the other thing was the portion of water, the body of water on the back there, it said on one of the other slides, it's not a detention pond, the next slide, I believe. Attractive pond feature, and you may not know at this time as to the purpose.
They are detention ponds, but we try to make them amenitized and as a pond feature, so it's not just an afterthought on the back side of the site. And to clarify on the zoning, the front portion would be the BG, the balance that's residential would be the residential conditional zoning.
Correct. One other question in honor of one of my friends that used to sit on this dais on the planning board. When a body of water came up, it was always a safety issue because it's proximity to a park. Any type of fencing, screening, or anything, if someone has a 3-year-old at the park, that would wander over to this area from a legality standpoint.
Microphone. This is Andy Gibbon with AppCon.
Thank you.
I would point out that our homes are connected by the courtyards. We have fences, so where we have a row of homes, that will be a barrier so that someone can't get behind it. So then your only opportunity is to approach from behind the homes. That's a very narrow window, and I don't think it will be inviting to pedestrian travel.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Bye, Andy.
Commissioner Holton?
Are these going to be age targeted or age restricted or?
We anticipate that they will be age restricted, and that will be included in the deed restrictions and when people are purchasing them.
Okay. And that 2.78, so that's going to have to be parceled, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then the main entrances, like you said, both are on Quail Park Drive?
Correct. Both of the entrances are on Quail Park Drive. And then you can see when you're getting closer to the land area to be dedicated, in between two lots, we've provided a pedestrian connection so that you don't have to walk all the way down the street to get out of the neighborhood.
Okay. Okay. So the back parcel back there is 32.84.
The full parcel gross is 32.84, and then we'll be subtracting out 2.78 acres as a potential dedication or donation.
Okay. Okay. That's the clarification I was looking for. So, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Or Pro Tem Dalton?
Patrick asked one of my questions about the age. Will this, I'm assuming this will be HOA?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And have you already spoken to our fire department or fire chief about access of getting in and out of these units?
We are at our first step. We just submitted our rezoning today, and I believe we'll have subsequent conversations with staff to address that.
What kind of parking are we going to be having?
Each of the units does have a garage, I think.
Two-car garage.
Two-car garage
And two parking spaces.
and 2 parking spaces in the front.
Okay. And how wide will the road be in front of the houses? What I'm getting at is if somebody has more company and they park on the side of the street,
Do we provide clearance for
That is
emergency
correct.
vehicles and others to get through? I believe so. We'll be doing everything to staff's, to the municipal standards.
okay, and I think I had one other question. Oh, how many plans will you have? House plans?
We'll be offering 4 different house plans
4 different ones, okay,
with multiple elevations for each.
okay.
For anyone that couldn't hear, we'll be offering 4 different house plans with multiple elevations.
Okay, thank you, that's all.
Commissioner Henderson?
Would you size the BMP to accommodate the impervious surface of the land to be donated?
We're looking at that option. We're still fairly early on. One of the difficulties is that we're probably going to have 2 different ownership entities. Therefore, the HOA will serve the residential, and then we'll have the development team with a different. We're hoping that with the size, the 2.78 acres, that we've given plenty of space to be able to provide the BMP on that site.
Okay. Also, would you provide a pipe connection and easement for the donated panel to connect to the BMP?
Yes, yes, we will.
Yes,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Anybody have anything else? You guys will remember me from the first go-round? You're shaking your head, yes. I'm looking at the acreage and I'm looking at the units and how that shakes out as far as what we do allow and what we don't allow. Even if we gave you total of the roughly 2 per acre that we allow, we're looking at 66 units instead of 67 units. So keep in mind as we have any further discussions, I may ask 1 or 2, and ask you to ask 1 or 2, I should say, just so that our numbers match up. I have nothing else in that. Well, we're liking the way your product's going so far, and so, thumbs up or thumbs down, let's give them some idea. Anybody have any problem with them continuing on the track that they're on?
I think with age restricted, I think that's a good spot for that personally.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
And I think you're an attorney, ma'am.
Land use consultant. I do work for an attorney, but I'm a land
Okay.
use
Well,
consultant.
Moore Van Allen,
Yes.
explain to me what age restricted means.
There are guidelines that give us the ability to say that someone can live in the home at 55 and older. There's some flexibility built in. There's a percentage of residents that may be below that age, but it's guided and controlled by the deed restrictions and the HOA for majority of the residents to be 55 and older.
80% of our homes will have at least one person 55.
80% of the homes will have at least one person aged 55 and older.
And then, can I ask one more?
Absolutely. Ask all you want. We got 10 more minutes.
I came out of a meeting at 3 o'clock with our police department, and the one thing that is increasing in our town is not favorable, are car crashes. And I fit in that age group, and now you're putting 66 homes, according to the mayor, on Highway 218, and many of will be making left turns to come to Mint Hill. Any considerations on safety aspects? That's the only thing I would ask as we move forward. I have no problem with the project, but traffic, safety issues,
I absolutely appreciate that comment and know when we're going through these process, it's the time that everyone has the opportunity to weigh in on access and the best way to handle it. And I do think that the small area plan set up that path for relief on Fairview by providing a parallel road that will be helpful in the future.
okay. And then one other question, on your drawing that's on the screen now, road to be constructed by others means?
That's part of the small area plan. It was set up so that when that's developed with a commercial or non-residential use, that road will carry through and provide a parallel road to Fairview.
Okay.
And we wanted to make sure that we provided adequate space as we were contemplating which area would be best for dedication and donation.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments?
No. Thumbs up. You move forward. Pay attention to what the mayor said about the,
We've got a
Whatever
long,
unit.
like you said, we just started this process today, so we have a lot of time for conversation, but we think you're on the right track. I agree with Commissioner Holton that that's a good location for that. We'll be talking about how to get our senior citizens across the street to the park and all that kind of stuff. We'll have those conversations at a later date, so if it seemed easy, you guys know me, it's not going to be easy, but we like having you in the neighborhood and look forward to working with you again.
We really appreciate that. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. At this point in time, I will close the developers workshop of 6:40 time. Call the order the meeting of the Board of Commissioners for the town of Mint Hill, North Carolina, November the 10th, 2022. We do have a quorum present. I'm going to ask that Commissioner Long deliver our invocation, please.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to come before you tonight. Please give us the wisdom as we make decisions for the town and our citizens. Thank you for the blessings you've given us. Please watch over those that are in the path of the storm that's approaching us, that they will be protected. Please be with our police officers, fire and emergency personnel that are out there 24/7 watching over our well-being. We ask this in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Agenda item number 3, additions, deletions, or arrangement of agenda items. Do we have anything? I hear nothing. Item number 4, approve the minutes of the October 13th, 2022 regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any conversation or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Item number 5, accept the October tax collector's report.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Item number 6 is public comments. We have one signed up to speak this evening, Sherry Abel. If you will come to the microphone, please. Please repeat your name and your address, even though I have it on my form here, so we get it in the minutes, and then you have the floor, ma'am.
My name is Sherry Abel.
Perfect. Yep, you're ready to go. Get a little closer to the mic so we can hear you, please. Thank you.
Hang on, we got,
Oh, never mind. We may have a technical glitch, like the mic's not on.
Yes?
There you
Oh,
go.
There we go. Now we're good.
Okay. Oh, it's too loud, isn't it?
No, not at all.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Board of Commissioners, and fellow citizens in attendance. My name is Sherry Abel. I have been appointed by Mayor Brad Simmons to a seat on the Arts and Science Advisory Council to represent Mint Hill. I'm grateful for this appointment and will report regularly on the council's activity. The first meeting I attended was October 27th. This was an introductory meeting. The ASC funds arts, science, history, organizations, nonprofit organizations, and creative individuals. The goal of my position is to gather ideas from the Mint Hill community to assure that the ASC Council is aligned with the needs of our Mint Hill community. Therefore, I'm asking for input from our leaders, businesses, churches, and our citizens to enrich our community. For some topics, examples may include gardening, creative art for school children, adults, and for residents in nursing homes. Creative writing is also a possibility. For example, you may have in the nursing home, you may have an art class for them. Oftentimes, they really like that. It's really kind of fun for older people to draw and what have you. And we could have a show of that in the different communities or even out in public. Another idea, I just thought about it, you actually probably could put this art and display it on all these wonderful things we have all the time, where we have things at the park. So you could even put it out there if you wanted to. So the ASC may be able to fund, that's the best part, give us some money for some of these events in Mint Hill. The biggest thing here is I'm trying to figure out, and if you guys have any ideas, how best to get this information out to the community so they can bring some ideas to us, and I can give them, and I'll give my email. But if any of you guys have any ideas how we can get this information out to the folks and have them get the information back to us, then we can sit and talk about it. And then I would take that information back to the ASC council and see if they would approve for monies for whatever we would like to do. Okay?
Good.
Questions? Anything? Anybody? No?
I want to say thank you very much for your service. Thank you for being proactive. We appreciate you getting this thing kicked off, and we're looking forward to working with you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 7 is the Family Court Awareness Month proclamation. Whereas the mission of the Family Court Awareness Month Committee is to increase awareness of the importance of a family court system that prioritizes child safety and acts in the best interest of children. And whereas the mission at the FCAMC is fueled by the desire to create awareness and change in the family court system for the conservatively estimated 58,000 children a year ordered into unsupervised contact with abusive parents, while honoring the hundreds of children who have been reported as murdered during visitation with dangerous parents. And whereas the mission of the FCAMC is to increase awareness on the importance of empirically based education and training on domestic violence and child abuse, including emotional, psychological, physical, and sexual abuse, as well as childhood trauma, coercive control, and post-separation abuse for judges and all professionals working on cases within the family court system. And whereas the mission of the FCAMC is to increase awareness on the importance of using scientifically valid, evidence-based treatment programs and services that are proven in terms of safety, effectiveness, and therapeutic value. And whereas the mission at the FCAMC is to educate judges and other family court professionals on evidence-based, peer-reviewed research. Such research is a critical component to making decisions that are truly in the best interest of children. The research includes the Adverse Childhood Experience Study, co-principal investigator Vincent Folletti, Kaiser Permanente CDC child custody evaluators' beliefs about domestic abuse allegations, principal investigator Daniel Saunders of the University of Michigan, sponsored by the National Institute of Justice, and child custody outcomes in cases involving parental alienation and abuse allegations, principal investigator Joan S. Meyer, GW Law School, sponsored by the National Institute of Judges. And now, therefore, I, Brad A. Simmons, hereby declare the month of November to be Family Court Awareness Month. I encourage all residents to support their local community's efforts to prevent the harm of children in the hands of family members and to honor and value the lives of the children. Witness my hand and seal, the town of Mint Hill, the 10th day of November, 2022, Brad Simmons, Mayor. And I made it through all that. I was with a third grade class today at Bain School, and some of them probably could have helped me read that a little bit better. So, but we did make it through there, and I appreciate your support of the children in our community. Item number 8 is other business and council matters, and I'll start with Commissioner Henderson this evening.
Just one thing, I attended the Mint Hill Historical Society's meeting. They're gearing up for the holidays. They're going to be doing a Christmas gift shop December the 1st, and also Christmas teas December the 7th through the 10th. And that is all.
Mayor Pro Tem Dalton.
Yeah, I attended the chamber board meeting this week, and they've got some things. I talked to Kim with Servant's Heart. They are starting to collect toys now for this Christmas. Hard to believe that's right around the corner, but it's going to be here very soon. But they're, like I said, you can drop off new toys or make $25 gift card donations. The gift cards go to children 12 to 18. That way they can kind of pick what they want, or the teens, they not necessarily interested in toys. Also on December 3rd, we'll have our Senior Citizens Christmas luncheon. And that same night, our town will be having our parade. And citizens out there, please consider volunteering and helping our town staff out through the parade. I spoke to Chief Hatley. On the 3rd also, we have a Jingle All the Way. That's a 5K run at Veterans Park. That money will be help the volunteer police program. And also another chamber event is a pop-up Christmas. It'll be here at Town Hall around a circle on the 10th from 12 to 4. That's all I got, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Holton.
I just want to give a big thanks to our first responders, Cheryl Smith and the Mint Hill Events Committee, all the town staff for this year's Mint Hill Madness. It was amazing. I think it was well received. The fireworks display, I'm still in awe about. So thank you to everybody that had their hands in a part in that.
Commissioner Long?
No, sir, I think they've covered it.
I just want to echo what Mayor Pro Tem Dalton said about volunteers. You know, I have people come to me all the time. I just moved to town. I don't know anybody. I need to know how I can start getting involved. And well, you get the opportunity, especially with the Christmas parade. I'm gonna misquote numbers here, and may get, if Cheryl was in the room, I could get corrected. But I think there's like 1,200 participants already signed up to be in the parade as far as number of bodies. Some crazy number.
75 floats, isn't it?
75 entries, I'm not sure about people.
Yeah.
Some have 100, some have.
Right.
So, yeah.
And there's a lot of opportunity to volunteer there. When you start volunteering with those groups, then you see how things work behind the scenes. A lot of times people say, well, why don't we have more parades? Well, if you were in this building and saw the work that goes on by the staff in here, the work that's required for our police department to work the extra hours to try to set up for the parade and everything else, the first thing you'd say is, why are we doing more than one parade? Because it's just a ton of work, just a ton of work. So if you can't join us and enjoy the parade, come volunteer with us and have some fun. We go all day long. I think the 5K's first, and then the senior citizens meal, and then, is it breakfast or luncheon?
Luncheon.
Okay. Senior citizens luncheon, and then the parade, and then we'll light the Christmas tree at some point in time that evening late. So with that, I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening, and I will accept the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.